All right, I'm going to begin. So today I am talking about the key to human advancement and with actualization and transcendence. So that's a big mouthful. But I'm certain that it's not new to anybody here in this room, or you would not be in here if somewhere within your realm of understanding you weren't aware of this. In fact, I wouldn't even think that you would be at the conference. So we're all here wanting to learn and up-level and illuminate. So I'm going to talk about the different energy patterns, frequencies, and the effects that it has on our realities and timelines. And then we're going to do a hypnotic guided meditation. So this is not just, close your eyes and imagine. This is hypnosis. So if anybody is not open to do that, just let me know. Anybody? Okay.
Is self-hypnosis different from meditation?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yes. Hypnosis takes you into a very deep place, and meditation is varying degrees of where you go, and intention drives it all. So, yeah. So just to answer, go ahead.
Not to burst the
bubble?
Yeah, but will that be on?
No.
Very distinct.
Nope. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. So you're wondering about the bubbles, right? Okay. I'm not going to tell you yet what they are, but I am going to tell you, okay? But I want to tell you who I am and why I can stand here and talk about what I'm talking about. And the reason is that I am a transformational holistic practitioner, and I have been we're coming up on 30 years now, so I don't count anymore. I am a homeopath. I work with chemotherapy, so this is energy medicine, where energy meets medicine, but it's not physical medicine, it is all energy. I work with the interdimensionals. I channel. I am a medical intuit. I work in shamanic journey work and past life, between lives, and future progressive soul regression. And I am a transmitter and communicator and receptor of energy. So in other words, what that means, and many of you may be also and may not be aware, but what I choose to tune into, much like the TV or a radio, I receive the transmission and I can translate. So I can put my hand on your body, or I can read your body, and I can tell you what it's talking about. I can put my hand on a stone or an ancient artifact or anything, and I can tell you what it's communicating. So, and I am a starseed. It's a mouthful. So I work with many, many, many beings. Like I said, the interdimensionals, the light beings, the emissaries of light. I work as an emissary on the galactic starship, which is what I call the UN of interdimensionals. And it's sort of, we go from place to place, from planetary system to systems, and I gather knowledge, and I also bring knowledge. So I call myself a scout, and I kind of like that because it's not all fluffy. It's just a job. And I work with the Egyptian deities and Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, and Yeshua. And I have been channeling Yeshua since I was 5 years old. We have had many, many conversations. So like I say, I've been connected since I was about 5 that I can remember, although I believe it was probably before that. I've been following my path since then. And what I mean by that is I receive guidance. It's my choice, of course, to follow it, but I have always followed it. And I had a vision when I was maybe about 17, I guess, that I saw a baby crib, and there were 4 baby heads in it. The first one had a pink bonnet, then there were 2 others. There was a blanket and another, come on in, and a 4th baby head. And I've had 4 children. My first was a girl, then I had 2 boys, and it was in 3.5 years I had 3 children, so they were really together. And then there was a space in time, and I had another, and it was a boy. So this was a very prophetic vision for myself, and I have always received vision, and I follow it. So it's not like I timed it out and said, well, I'm going to have 3 children and then wait. It just happens, but I have to accept it and say, yes, I will follow that. And this has happened all my life. So I was in my 30s, and I bought a piece of land with my first husband and my 4 children, and it was native burial ground. Did not know it at the time, but it drew me in, and there was purpose to it. And being there, I had a second awakening. So I was still awake, but it was more of an awakening. And I was guided and connected to many beings at that point. And I was actually transported to another place in time. And through that, I was in my schooling. So it was teaching me what and preparing me for what my mission here on Earth is. And so I'm here collecting knowledge, like I said, and going from system to system and sharing what it is that what I know. In the interim of all of that, I became very sick from toxic water on the land. And it reversed and destroyed my memory. So I used to have to draw a map how to get to town. I could not remember anything. But what it did open was my ability to receive energy and understand it. So as one door opens, door closes, another opens. And so this was, I want to say, a blessing. But I didn't realize it was such a blessing at the time, because to lose your memory it's a very difficult thing to navigate your world. So I had no choice but to trust my intuitive skills. Okay, it forced it. And I remember taking a kinesiology class, and when I did that, I was guided to stop doing it. It was just a matter of kind of learning it, a little bit of the ropes of understanding it, but I was guided that not to do anything physical. In other words, proving, like when you muscle test, it's showing what the body's explaining to you. Because I was not to rely on anything physical due to the fact of what my mission is here, what I'm to be doing, it must all come straight into, through my mind, through my filter, through my senses. So that's why I'm standing here today, to be able to share information with you. And it gives me phenomenal pleasure to be able to stand and share what I know, what I hear, and help people along their path. And as they teach me, I teach you. We're all teachers and students simultaneously. So I'm going to talk about the effects of energy. I'm not going to get into the science of it exactly. I don't want to bore you with all those details. But I want to talk about the observer effect. And when we focus our attention on something very specific, we put our attention there, an electron appears. And when an electron appears, there becomes a field with a pattern of energy in it. It becomes something, in other words, okay? So it's infinite with all energy, but nothing defined until an electron appears. And so when the electron becomes, how do I want to say, in actualization, okay, it becomes a patterned energy. So that expresses the fact that there's thought creates an actual outcome, and it becomes a wave or a pattern of energy. And what happens then, the more we focus, it becomes very condensed. It's like as if you took something from here and you condensed it, moved it, moved it, moved it. It becomes matter. And it proves that there's a link between our thought and matter. So I'm working with a scientist right now because he has the equipment and the understanding of science. I do not, but I know what I see. I'm able to see energy, and I'm able to see what's going on in energy. And so he hands me a bottle of vitamin C liquid, right? And he says, well, let's see what you can do with this, right? So I begin to see something swirling. It's energy swirling. I'm holding the bottle and it's swirling the energy. And what pops up is this sort of, it looks like a ball, okay? And it's an electron, all right? So now the matter, the energy is becoming a pattern, and it's becoming denser, we'll say, okay? Because the electron shows up. And so he put it on his machine after a few moments, the vitamin C bottle, and he had gauged what the instrument said prior to and then afterwards, and it raised it to 60% higher. From what I understand, what he tells me is that only machines can only bring it up 50%. So this can actually raise it higher by our thought. That's amazing how much power we really have. So we can create in the non-physical field of infinite energy. This shows that when an electron manifests in an energy field out of the quantum field, we can bring it in. And that's what today is about. So I'm glad you're all here and joining me. So there are different patterns of energy. I can see them. And I may not know what they're called, but working with the scientist, it's clarifying for both of us. I can tell him what I see, and he tells me what that's called and what it is. And so I've seen AC/DC. We know what that is when you plug in. AC/DC looks like a wave like this and a wave of energy like this, and they work within each other, right? And then there are electromagnetic frequencies, and they look very different. And we're surrounded by electromagnetic frequencies, right? If any of us have any electronics at all, plugs and such, you have EMFs, right? You are EMF. And then there's scalar, and there is quantum, and they all look different. One of them I see as sort of shooting out energy like this. But when I was in quantum looking at it, quantum is like nothing and everything. It's quiet, and yet it's not. It's almost like there's this duality that goes on in quantum. So now I'm going to explain to you why the bubbles, okay? The bubbles are representative of simultaneous multi-realities. And I wanted to bring them because I want everyone to understand, to have this in a visual of what this looks like. What this looks like, multi-realities. And it's like the bubbles shooting out all over the place. One day I got up in the morning, I must have still been in some place from the night, and I could see all these bubbles. And I started to realize this is our quantum reality. These are simultaneous personal experiences going on with us. It just depends on what you give energy to as to what is going to come more into your focus. So the bubbles represent a pathway in the access into our realities. And if we visualize, because visualization is very important, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. If we actually visualize that these realities are going on, we have all realities going on right here. It's just the condensed form that you are sitting here, but you are in multi-realities. We all are right now. So quantum allows us to go beyond our barriers of understanding what we think, what we hold as our three-dimensional reality, the distortions that exist in that, because this may be distorted, that bubble may be distorted. Maybe there's numerous ones, but there are some that are not distorted also. So it's all going on simultaneously, and it's the way we actualize and transcend. So our divine consciousness is waiting for us to be able to expand beyond our barriers at this point. What, if I can ask you, would be your greatest dream? What bubble would you like to take from the quantum realm, which surrounds us all right here? In fact, all these realms are here. All of these energies are here, like I just spoke of. Which one would you like to pull and bring into your manifestation, into your 3D world? I'm going to talk about this in a minute, realities. So when we fantasize, we're accessing these realities. And it takes us out of our limitations, and it brings us or allows us to have conscious imagination. And when I work with past life and between lives and future regressions, it's funny just to say future regression, it's like a backward forward, but you get what my point is. We use conscious imagination. Children are really great at conscious imagination. And the bubbles signify, or the pathway of holding this these codes of light, because that's what it is. They're codes of light. They're patterns of light. They're particles of light. So when I can see scalar waves, they're particles moving in a certain way at a certain speed, and they all carry light, and it connects with us. So when we see, and when we somatically, which means physically within our whole being, when we have this experience, we then take that and we bring it in. And the more we focus and bring it into ourselves, the more dense it becomes. We're compacting it. It becomes denser and matter, and then it becomes gravitational, which is what 3D is. It's gravitational. And that actually means that anything under 1,000th of an inch is gravity. When you step outside of that, there is no gravity anymore. So picture yourself moving into these realities. And if you're in these realities, you actually can go into them and extract information, wisdom, knowledge to bring back into your third dimension here. Your capabilities, your dharma. There's so much information. And people that read energy, we know this because we're accessing it all the time. And I'm sure many of you read energy in one form or a fashion. But these are all alternate realities of ourself. So if there were 50 bubbles in the air, these are all your alternate you, just in different ways. And what they actually are frequency and patterns that you can bring back into your third dimension. So when we visualize, we're actually feeling like, or you can feel like that you are inspired by this to break free, to create exactly the bubble that you want with what is in there. Because again, remember, let's go back to the electron, okay? And as you're thinking about it, it becomes denser and denser, and the electron pops out, and there it is. And it changes that pattern and becomes denser and denser because your focus is on it. And you do this until it comes into fruition. And that's why we say it's already happening, right? And so it is. So our thoughts are electric and our emotions are magnetic. So electric going out, magnetic coming in, which makes electromagnetic frequency, right? It's this constant motion. And right now, as you're thinking, listening, whatever you're doing, you're creating a reality at this moment. But there are multi-realities right now, right? So when we change our EMFs, our magnetic field, right? That's how we can create a new reality, a different reality. So when we do that, we want to hold that state. It's important to hold it so that it becomes denser and denser and denser, and it finally magnifies into a 3D, where we are now. So there are 4 aspects of creating, of manifestation. Does anybody know what those 4 aspects are? No? Okay. Visualization? Yep.
I was looking at that.
Yep. Okay. So 4 aspects. We think a thought. Then we have a feeling about that thought. Not all thoughts create feelings, but we feel something, okay? We're standing on a grocery line, okay? And you're thinking something, and then you begin to feel it. And then you say it. You say something about it. And then you act as if it's in existence, as if you've brought it right in and you have now created that. So there's 4 aspects to manifestation. What's important is that all 4 must be lined up. Your thoughts must match your feelings, what you speak and say, and then your actions. All 4 must be in alignment. And so it is, and that's why we say this. So I have a story of actualization I'm going to share with you. But first, I want to say that just because you can't see it, we don't have all the bubbles of different realities that we can see right now, does not mean they're not in existence. Because like the vitamin C bottle, okay, I couldn't see it with my eyes. You know, it wasn't right here, but I could see it energetically. Okay, so it doesn't mean that just because you can't see it doesn't exist. And if you hold it for a certain amount of time, 30 seconds to a minute or even more, it becomes, again, the focused thought anchors it in and becomes gravitational, and then it becomes matter. And so visualization opens us to expand the realm of our, what I want to call possibility filter. And so I want to tell you a story of possibility. I was invited to a woman in the hospital. I did not know her. She was a friend of a very good friend of mine. And she had gone, she was 60-something years old, in good shape, and she had gone riding her bicycle. And she hit a gravel on the road, and she flipped over her handlebars and became paralyzed from the neck down, instantaneously. So she could not move. She was airlifted to the hospital. And I was called in about a week and a half after she was in this accident. Again, I didn't know her, but my friend had called because I work in energy. And my friend and the daughter were in the room, And then the person, we'll call her Nancy, and myself. And I went in, and I didn't know what to expect. I don't know anything, right? I just know she was in an accident. And I began to work with her and bring her into this place. And where I went was I split open time, and I went back to the moment where she was flipping over the bars. And in that moment of time, outside of gravitation, outside of 3D, that's where her fear set up. And when the fear set up, it happened in the body. So the mind, the thinking, it all happened in a split second, maybe even less. So when I'm working with her, I can see this. This is where I need to be, where I need to go. And what happens is I'm talking to her about this space outside of the time continuum. And she says to me, I can see something. I see myself beginning to swim. That's a good thing. She's swimming. Now, she's paralyzed physically, but she's seeing herself swim. The dichotomy of all of this is that she's afraid of swimming. That's her greatest fear, because she's afraid that she'll drown. And what is she doing? One, she's facing her fear, right? Two, she's actually swimming in her conscious imagination. Three, it's actually happening in dense form, because what we were observing through our actual eyes was her arms started to move, her legs started to move. She walked out of the hospital a month later. That's pretty good. That's actualization. So, and that doesn't mean that, from that point forward, she was fine and walked out. She had to do the work to manifest, to physically get herself from this point to this point. But this opened up, this split it apart and opened it up for her. And she could take it from that point and continue to move forward. So the reason is it became real to her, and it existed. And that's why we say, and so it is, because it exists in a reality, okay? So, how many here give thanks at their mealtime, or when you're eating or drinking or whatever? Oh, good, good, good. We need to be grateful. We need to put this energy out, especially now, more than ever, because we need to change things that are going on in our reality, right? And when we're manifesting, we should feel great, as if it's in existence already and it's done. We should feel great. And two, I always say, this is how you know you're manifesting. It comes in the back door. So I've said this for years. So when you're standing in the front, and you're looking out the window, out the front door, you're expecting it's going to be this way, you think this is the way it should be, you've asked for it in this term, and then suddenly it's like this neighbor that comes in and knocks on the back door with some kind of pie or something, right? And you're like, where did that come from? Why? Because you didn't predict it that way. The universe co-created it in those realities we were talking about and brought it to you just in a perfect way. So we can co-create that way, and we co-create in that quantum field with infinite potential. So I've got two stories. I'm going to try to run through them really quick. So when I was up in Peru, I lead retreats all over the world. And when I was up in Aramu, Peru, say that 3 times fast, okay. Really quickly, Mother Earth, what they do is they use coca leaves for intention and gratitude. And I was at this space, and I couldn't think of anything at the moment. It kind of caught me off guard, and I thought, okay, love and light. That's what came to my mind, right? So I put the blessing in, and then we went over to the gateway. It's a portal, and there are 3 doorways. I went to the first one, and I had an experience. Then I went to the next one, and I could feel myself dematerializing, literally. You know, in the movie Star Trek where he says, "Beam me up, Scotty." Okay, you know what that looks like? Well, you should feel it. It is the weirdest experience. And I could feel myself dematerialize. And it kind of jolted me, and I kind of jumped out of it. And then I went to the middle door. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. 3 light beings show up for me, and they ask me if I want to go with them. And I declined because I said to them, I have work to do here, and I don't want to go. But what they blessed me with was love and light. Now, we say this as a consciousness, but this, I got to feel myself in my fullness. And when I say my fullness, I was God. And that is a statement. So don't hear it wrong, because we're all God. But I got to experience love and light. And I probably bawled for about 20 minutes after, but it was a joyous cry. It was the most incredible feeling I've ever had, and I've had a lot of experiences, but this tops the baby book. Okay, that's actualization, because it comes in the back door. You do not know what or how it's going to manifest. Another story real quick, and then we're going to go into our meditation. So every year at Christmas, I look for a happening to get involved with, and I got an email from the Rosebud Reservation out in North Dakota. So real quickly, their 97% unemployment rate. They live in tar paper shacks, 30 degrees below zero, and they're a sovereign nation not recognized by the government. So pretty awful conditions. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to make this my thing for Christmas. I want to do something for them. So I do shamanic journey work. I have groups. And I put out an email to many people, and I said, I'm collecting for them. Well, be careful what you ask for. I had a living room, a dining room, and a garage filled with boxes. Now, that's a lot of boxes. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get this to the Rosebud Reservation, right? So I called in the group, and we did a journey around it. Now, this is a collective journey with one intention. So very focused, okay? Creating intention, all of that, right? What we just spoke of. And during the journey, I think, and I don't remember everybody's journey, but one person saw a white trailer tractor, or tractor trailer truck. Another saw a white bear, and I don't remember the others. So we still didn't really quite understand what was it telling us, right? 2 days later, I'm driving with my husband. We stop at this little tiny store, and right at where you're paying, there's little placards, okay? And I noticed it was Native American, and it just kind of caught my eye. I love that. And so it's the 4 directions. I picked it up, and on the bottom it said Shirley Bear. And then I looked at it, and I thought, oh, okay, I get what this is, right? So I went home, I called Shirley Bear. Okay. She says, twice a year I go out to the Rosebud Reservation and I drive a tractor trailer out there. I'm getting ready in 1 week to drive out there, and I can take all of your boxes. That's manifestation. You don't know how it's coming in. You don't look at what's going to happen. You just put it out there and do it and trust as if it already is. And that's co-creating at the finest with the universe. So I love that. All right, so let's get in a quiet place. Okay, we're going to do a meditation, okay? Then I'm going to tell you about what's coming up with my next couple of years. All right, so I'm going to take you into the lower brain waves real quickly, okay? Safe, secure place, and where each version of your reality has already what you desire. And by practicing this, you tap into the power of the subconscious and you bring your ideal version into your current reality. So close your eyes, we're going to begin. To reach a state of ultimate relaxation, you're in a quiet place and comfortable position. Take a deep breath, and when you reach the top of that breath, hold it for a moment. Just a moment, and then exhale. And do it again. Breathe deep in. Hold it for the moment at the top and exhale. And then one more time. Breathe it in. Top of the breath, exhale out. Very good. Very good. I can hear you all breathing. And allow your entire body to relax and dive into a deep, tranquil stillness. And focus solely on your breath. Just watch the breath in, watch the breath out. And notice the fresh air as it flows in and out, allowing each inhale to bring in peace and calm. And on each exhale, you are just releasing. Release what no longer you need at this just very moment. And allow all the distracting thoughts to vanish. Slowly shifting your attention to your body now. And notice any sensations in your body which need to release by intending it to release. That's good. And feel your body getting heavier and heavier as you get more relaxed. And be in the present moment right now and let this deep relaxation take over your body and your mind. And I'd like for you to imagine a set of 10 stairs in front of you. This is a special set of stairs because once you reach the bottom, you'll be in a complete darkness and your astral body will be ready to rise upward into the cosmos. So beginning on 10, stepping down, 9, releasing and relaxing. 8, going deeper and deeper. 7, 6, that's good. You're letting go. And 5, getting heavier and more relaxed. Deeper and deeper. 4, 3, almost there. 2, and 1. You're now at the bottom and you see you're in complete darkness. And what you begin to notice is a visceral feeling of movement, a sensation that begins in your body. And allowing this feeling, it's a tingling or the sensation of movement as it begins in your toes and it works up through your body, just allowing to make its way through. And feel the sensation as it goes up through your legs and your hips and your stomach and your chest and your arms, up into the shoulders and your neck. Feel it in your neck. And then up into your head. Just feel your whole body. Now it's alive with the sensation. And when you're ready, just trusting this energy's ability to guide you. Slowly you will feel your astral body begin to rise upwards. And feel yourself become light as a feather, completely weightless. And turn your eyes and look back at your body as still in the darkness. And as your astral self is calm and comfortable, and free of your physical body, pure positive energy flows through you now. It's completely effortless for you to soar upwards out of this darkness and into the cosmos, allowing yourself to float higher and higher upwards. You're surrounded by many stars and planets and planetary systems. And you can see thousands of galaxies as they twinkle and move, and they're inviting you to explore them. They exist in multi-realities, and you can visit them because anything will happen in this space. You are without gravity now. You are out of your physical dimension. You have no limitations at all. Nothing is holding you back. And you can go and do wherever and whatever you desire. So now with the power of your spiritual consciousness, manifest a portal in front of you. No judgment of what it looks like. Allow it to show up on its own, in its own way. And now you see a deep golden glow emitting from this portal. And it's inviting you. You can feel it. It's bringing you in to pass through it. Just let yourself go. And as the space around you begins to collapse itself, it's moving quickly and effortlessly. And you can feel your astral body moving through this energy. You are right now leaping through time and space, the space continuum, into different dimensions at the rate of every few seconds. Each one of those dimensions you cross, you can sense, you know, there's a parallel reality of your life in each one of them. And each one of these realities is different. See them passing by. Begin to slow down until you totally come to a stop. You now can find yourself in a new dimension. Draw back the invisible veil and trust. And as you begin to clearly see a different version of your life, just take a moment until it comes into focus. Everything you wanted, everything you desire is contained in this particular version right now. And be the observer and notice your details. And when you see your surroundings, how does it make you feel? Bring that in. Bring that feeling in. How do you feel emotionally? What are your thoughts? Can you smell anything or hear anything? Or do you sense? What are you experiencing? What's happening for you? Hold this deep within yourself in this now presence. You're in the moment. Bring it into yourself and really allow yourself to take in every aspect of what's occurring. These are frequency patterns that we spoke of. These are frequency patterns of yourself. What do you want to take back to your 3D? So take a moment, just visualize, hold it for 30 seconds. Everything, 30 seconds. Until we create manifestation. And as we're doing this, there's a few mantras I want you to think and feel. I am worthy. This is what I desire. My abilities are bounding and limitless. I am committed to the best version of me that I can humanly embody. This is the life I choose at this very moment. And all I need is within me now. I co-create this reality with the universe. And so it is. So coming back now, I'll begin counting. 10, 9, 8. So you're coming back into your body. Feel it. 7. Coming back into consciousness, taking a breath. 6, 5. Focus your attention on your weight sitting in the chair. 4. Wiggle your toes and your fingers, bringing yourself back, just feeling your physical body now. Yawn. 3, 2, and 1. You are in your full consciousness. Great. Okay, most of you are back. Bring yourselves back. Come on. Feel your toes. There you go. All right. So I'm going to share real quickly. I've got some retreats coming up where In April, going to rediscover your soul in Hawaii. We're going to connect with Lemurian roots. And right now we're mimicking a lot of time of Lemurian Atlantean times. There's a lot of information to understand and hear for ourselves, to navigate our world, to understand it better. So in April, we're going there. We're going to work with the dolphins and a kahuna. I had lived in Hawaii, so I know it all so well. They're sacred ground. And then in August, the mystery and magic of sacred England in Glastonbury. And we're going to uncover King Arthur, the 7 chakras of Glastonbury, Merlin, Joseph of Arimathea, and the Holy Grail and what that means, and finding the Holy Grail within each one of us. In August, right after Glastonbury, Mary Magdalene and the Cathars, we're going to follow the footpath of Mary and Yeshua. And so you can do one or the other, or do the whole thing, uncover these gems. I'm doing some webinars with dolphins, and oh, goodness gracious. Thank you so much. It's all on my website, which is wellnesswithin.net. You have a card, it's on there. Go to Spirit Adventure Tours on it. I'm doing some classes to kind of open us up, get us connected to the other 5 chakras that are outside of the body. To actualize more. I have so much information. I'm just dying to tell everybody about this. How to activate DNA, how to work with it all. The wisdom of the ancients. I have so many different beings that want to share information. I actually have on my YouTube channel, I do a monthly insights from whomever wants to share the information as they're coming through. And then next year, 2024, March, we're going to Egypt. I love all the temples, the king's chambers, queen's chambers, but we're really going to focus on the Sphinx, because what I understand in my channeling, and this is a heavy mouthful I'm going to share, that they tell me that everything mankind needs to know is within the Sphinx. And now I don't know if you know Sarah, I think her name is Sarah Brexman. She wrote she wrote a book on the Sphinx, and I was having a conversation with her about it all. And she said there's so much information waiting to just tell everyone from the Sphinx particularly. So, all right, questions? No questions? Oh my gosh. All right, did everybody get to have an experience of sorts? Did you get to see other realities? Yeah, I hope so. If you have any questions, come on, see me, 505. I'm down right at the opening of where the doorway, into the big room. You have questions, you want to talk about something, whatever, I'm there. I'm there to support you on your path. Go ahead.
On the stats one,
Sure.
I didn't really go into the realities of things I wanted. I just was going into different places. It happened so easily. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But is that
That's okay. Yeah, don't think too much about it. Just allow it to be. And it will continue to unfold now that you've accessed and opened that for yourself, that awareness for yourself. This is a great, I use this hypnosis quite often to help us learn how to manifest. It's not a difficult one. It's going to actually be up on my website within the week because of the video. So it'll be there. If you want to do it again, you'll be able to access it there. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you all. Thank you.